Hello and welcome to another update from Australia on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Now we have just seen Matt Hancock and Sean Walsh enter the camp and it was every bit as entertaining as we expected. So first of all we saw Sean Walsh enter this separate camp to the rest of the celebrities before he was joined by Matt Hancock, and seeing his face when Matt walked in was absolutely priceless. He couldn't get his breath. So then they were put to their first trial. At one point, Sean had to put his hand into a box of rats, his worst nightmare. They got 6 stars in the end, which, middle of the road, obviously, there's 11 up for grabs, so, you know, that could have been a lot better. So the moment we were all waiting for when we saw Matt and Sean enter the main camp, and it was every bit as awkward as you can imagine. We obviously have Charlene White, who is a journalist. She's a newsreader. We see her on Loose Women, grilling politicians. That's her job. And obviously Boy George was very emotional. His mum was very poorly, very ill, and he was overcome with a sense of guilt with having to bond with Matt, somebody who was in charge of COVID restrictions at a time when, you know, a lot of people couldn't see their families. At the point we saw Charlene take Matt away to the treehouse, and he was grilled by Charlene. You know, we were glued to the telly watching this.
So few ways in which politicians can show that we're human beings.
Of course, he comes out with what he says he wants the public to see the real him. You know, obviously Parliament isn't in recess at the moment. His constituents, you know, they're having to have a bounce back email from Matt during his time in the jungle. Now, obviously, Charlene, you could sense she did not take lightly to that, and of course, neither did the rest of the campmates really, and they were sort of having to bite their tongue. You know, they've got to live with this person for the next 2-3 weeks, and they can't be tension on day one. You know, that just spells trouble, especially when you're in such a close, confined space.
Matt! See you at the chat. They all tell you.
And obviously, it was no surprise that Matt Hancock was chosen to do the trial. Everybody knew it. Obviously, they know that the public will be voting for Matt to do the trials, but obviously he was still a little bit nervous. He even said, you know, I saw it coming, but there was still that part of me that thought, you know, I don't really want to be doing one of those gruesome trials again. So that will be in the next episode, and we just cannot wait to see, you know, how he does. You know, he seemed to sort of take control on the trial with Sean, so possibly he could get a full house, win all the stars, and maybe that will be his way of bonding with the camp. I think that's probably what he needs to do to start to win them over. Obviously, full tummies will mean a happier camp, and if he can be the one that does that, then I'm sure that will be his way to put smiles on people's faces.